Mission Pro Wrestling, the symbol of excellence in women's sports entertainment.
Good evening, Mission Pro fam. I am Mind Runner, and I am super excited because my guest is somebody I've wanted to chat with for a while, and somebody you definitely need to keep on your radar. It's time for all of us to say hola, hola to my guest at this time. She almost ran some red lights so she could be here for us. This is the sacrifice that she's making. But ladies and gentlemen, it's time to meet La Chica de Hola Hola. And hola, hola, hola to La Chica, hola, hola. Hello, Nahir Robles. How are you doing?
So, if I get two hola holas, would it be like hola hola squared?
Yes, good math there. Exactly. I mean, we could go exponentially if we with the hola holas. If we need
So,
to.
hola hola.
We'll cube it up. Thank you so much for being here. We were going back and forth to the Mission Pro fan. We were going back and forth, just navigating. The sacrifices that these tremendous talents make are tremendous for our entertainment. But Nahir went above and beyond, risking traffic just to be here to show but definitely worth it. Not only to have you as our guest, but this awesome piece of jewelry you've got over your shoulder, a little bling there. Very nice. It says champion.
Yes.
Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you so much. This is actually my first championship, and it has a meaning because I actually won it on my 50th match. Like, talk about poetry.
Right? And in 50, that's like the golden number, right? 25 is the silver number when you talk about anniversaries. So your golden match, you got gold. I think that's fantastic. I think that's fantastic. So excited to have you here. I got a lot to talk about, and I hope you like that intro. But I went with a different feel, but I realized you're kind of more of you kind of have this like 80s pop culture vibe sometimes. Like your outfit's very I think I had a Trapper Keeper as one of your gears, and also the cosplay. I noticed that you dressed as Starlight, and
you got the reference. I'm so happy.
Oh, it was great. Yeah, Starlight, and then you did a Peacemaker that I thought was fantastic. But super excited to chat with you. Everybody in the chat is excited. I do have a way for our Mission Pro family to get to know you better. We do have an opening segment that I like to call Insta Insanity, where I went through and I found some tasteful pictures from your Instagram that I'm sure have a big story each of them. So without further ado, Nahir, let's take a look at your Insta Insanity.
Welcome! It's Insta Insanity!
All right, these are stories behind compelling Instagram photos. Totally not ripping off of Sean Evans from Hot Ones, but here we go. All right, this picture. I had to go with this picture first. I love this. What's going on in this photo? Tell us the story behind this.
So this was a match for We Are Wrestling back in April 26. It was Team Pegao versus Team Con Con. Let me explain to you because someone that's not Latino, it looks at us really funny when we say that. So Pegao is the way of, when you make rice, the one that's like stuck in the end.
Yes.
So stuck in Spanish is pegado, but you know, Puerto Ricans, we love eating our letters, so we say pegado.
Yes.
So Dominican Republic, they call it con.
Con. Okay.
Con, yes. So we did this whole match about Latin rice supremacy. Team Pegado versus Team Con. So that's literally Team Puerto Rico right there. They are Jay Lion, Eden, and Matt Awesome.
All
and
right.
then me.
Team Con. All right. Tell us in the chat. Are you Team Con?
They got to be Team Pegado, or are we fighting? They have to be Pegado. We fighting.
No team. I don't see any Team Pegao. Bobby, Pepe's just giving us a laugh. He loves this. So yeah, we're Team Con all the way. I mean, that's the delicious part, right? I mean, let's be honest. That's the best part of the rice.
I mean, rice is rice. The fun part about this match is that it ended up in a no DQ. Like it ended up in DQ because a non-Latin person interfered in the match.
Oh, that's not cool. That should have been a double DQ. That should be. Where's the rubber match? Where's the rubber match for this?
So then it was really funny because it was like, yeah, we're fighting over rice, but you mess with Latinos, they're all sticking together. So it was just hilarious. Like, we got our differences in how we call rice, but we all had something in common. We all hated Jay Bougie on that match.
Jay Bougie, yeah, you never mess with the Latinos rice. I'm telling you.
No,
never.
you don't mess with Latino rice, and even especially when we're trying to put the right name on it.
Yes, very good. I knew there was a big story, and the smiles on everybody's face is very cool. Team Con all the way. All right, who's this this superstar here? This pageant queen.
That'd be me. That was actually the last pageant I did, which coincidentally was also during my, wrestler day. So it's been really like hard. So that's the last time I represented Puerto Rico. It was I was Miss Belleza Turismo Mundial Puerto Rico 2022.
Oh wow. Okay.
I went to the Dominican Republic and ended up first runner-up, which, it's a bitter taste. Like, it's a bittersweet taste in your mouth because it's so close, but you don't get it.
Oh, that's the worst. It's like going into a big tournament, wrestling all the way to the finals, and then losing in the finals. And let me ask you, what were you? Could you also be Miss Con?
No, well? I'm pegao. Puerto Rico's pegao. We pegao.
All right, Miss Pegao.
I mean, it could work though. I would love it to be like Miss Pegao. It would be like a total different gimmick.
You come to the ring with a little crock pot of rice and just throw it in
and just feeding everybody rice and just screaming Pegao.
Oh, you'd be a fan favorite immediately. Everybody be like, I don't care about whoever's. You could wrestle anybody and you'd be the baby face automatically. So you started out as a pageant queen and model, and then when did you get the bug for wrestling?
So I feel like if there's any way that you can describe me, it'd be like I'm the biggest like wrestling cliche from the early 2000s. Because I was a model turned interviewer turned wrestler.
I've never seen that before in wrestling. Never.
I mean, the closest we've ever gotten to interview turned wrestler would be Maria.
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
So getting that feeling of like that 2000s nostalgic era, like I didn't think I'd be actually embodying it. Not like I have ever pictured myself. So it's actually very interesting navigating through that entire journey.
Yeah, it is. And the 2000s were kind of a different time. I mean, the women's wrestling, in the independence it was rough out there. But on WWE, it seemed like the only women's matches were highlighted were like the bra and panties matches or the mud matches. It didn't seem like it wasn't until later that women's wrestling really started to elevate in the public sphere. How far do you think we've really come a long way since then?
I think we have, but I don't think I never looked down on like women's matches in the 2000s because that's what they had during that time, and
Yeah.
they did what they could, what was given to them. So I've
Mhm.
always said that you can talk about women's history like just minimizing one part and then elevating the other. I think both of them, one needed to happen in order for the other to become so important these days.
Oh, well, very well said. Like you look at Trish Stratus, she started out with as the manager for TNA, Test and Albert, but let's be honest,
Exactly.
TNA had another meaning. But then she slowly, I mean, she was really hitting the practice, and she turned into one of the most, notable female wrestlers of her time. Then, of course, you had Jazz and Lita and China. I mean,
Yes.
you had so many. Is China one of your favorites?
Oh, for sure. Like if I was like near I have a wall. Like I'll take a picture. I'll send it to you later. My house like wall. It's full of like old like WWE memorabilia.
Cool.
So, and China has to be there. Like she
Yes.
was. Yes.
It's with a fantasy booking. It's sad that she passed, but I always wondered what a match with 2000s China versus today's Jade Cargill would look like. Can you imagine the two of them face to face? I mean, just the face to face alone, the crowd would go nuts. I would go nuts.
Exactly. I'm just thinking about the reaction. It's two different eras, but they symbolize the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's great.
I think that's tremendous. In the chat, Pepe was talking about women's wrestling was more sexualized back then. I'm glad it's starting to get the respect it deserves. Let me ask you this, though. I mean, do you agree that there's still a place if women want to celebrate their bodies? There is still a place for those kind of matches if they choose to do it. But again, it seemed like back then that was the only thing available. What are your thoughts?
Matches, the type of match that any female wrestler wants to put into play, I feel like that's more of a personal decision. Mm-hmm. I've always been very vocal about that. For example, the incident that happened recently with Sky Blue.
Yeah.
And that's not even a match. That was just what she was wearing.
There were people that tried to blame her for what she was wearing, which, I mean, I don't know. What's your take on that? Do you think it was any of that was her fault, or was that just, hey, dude, the alcohol needs to be a little more respectful?
I just think it's crazy how it was just narrowed down to like what do our usual male wrestlers wear? She's literally wearing like it's a very crazy double standard. It's like, come on, just let her wear what she wants. If nothing's like getting out of place, and if she feels comfortable with it, I feel like that's what should matter above everything else. For example, like if I could like go from attires to actual matches, if a woman wants to do a hardcore match, that's good. But if they want to do more simple, old school, like, I don't know, 2000 nostalgia, that's also good as well. But at the end of the day, it's a personal decision. And I feel like that's what should matter above everything else.
Absolutely. And Sky Blue had that banger against Willow Nightingale. I mean, she has earned so much credit with some of the moves, the improvements she's done. She was always great in the indies. I think she got, when she started AEW, it's all of a sudden, it's like now you're performing in front of thousands and thousands of people. But looking at her now, the progress that she's made, it's been phenomenal. And I love that. Yeah. And again, I think there's room for women if they want to do a hardcore match. I don't know why there might be some apprehension for that, but looking at that Willow Sky Blue match, it's one of my favorites. Speaking of hardcore matches, though, I found this on Instagram. Now, there's a Photoshop on the right that I did because it just tells me.
You got the reference. I'm so excited.
I mean, this is just tremendous. Now, again, I mean, it's kind of hard to not know who's the Jedi and who's the Sith. I mean, Su Yung is pretty Sith, if you ask me. But this was I highly recommend. This is my recommendation before you even talk about this. Go look up Nahir Robles versus So Young and just sit back with the popcorn. What a great match. One of my favorite moments is when she tries to hide behind a kid to avoid your chops. And you're
And
like,
I'm like,
no,
no,
no.
no, no, not the kid.
So tell us a little bit about this.
That match to me, like, if I'm being honest, I feel it's my favorite match, like, right now, like, of all the matches I've done. That was the match that put me out of my comfort zone. We ended up being the main event for Honor Among Wrestling, and it was a no DQ match, a match I've never done before. So I did not know what I was walking into. And again, Sue is a professional. She gave me hell, and I loved that kind of hell. And when there were hockey sticks in the equation, I was like, oh, this needs to happen.
Yes. We needed to get the John Williams music playing in the background for the Star Wars theme. But yeah, I mean, it literally this picture literally the first thing I thought of is this is a lightsaber. This is Luke and Darth right here.
And even the background, like
yes.
the ceiling of the place, it matches that energy as well. So I was like, yes.
That's awesome. You are kind of a cosplay aficionado. I mean, I loved your like we talked about before, your Starlight and your
Peacemaker.
Do you what are some things that you're into, and what are some plans that we might see future cosplay gear coming up in the future?
So to me, the characters that I choose when it comes to cosplaying in my gear, it has to do a lot with like what people might consider anti-hero characters, because I relate to them a lot. Like I remember my first match at IWA Puerto Rico. My gear was Shigo from Kim Possible.
Nice.
And then, ironically, when I did my second match, I had the Kim Possible So Not the Drama spacesuit that was like silver and blue. So I kind of have like a theme going on with either like anti-heroes or just powerful female characters. Because I feel like if I have a voice and a space to give the world something, is for women to feel safe and to see that there's a lot of ways to empower yourself, not only with wrestling, but like by the things that you watch as well. So that's why I bring the Kim Possible, which is kind of nostalgia, the Shigo. I did Zero Suit Samus for Battle Club Pro when I entered Survival of the Fittest match. That was hilarious. But I like bringing these type of characters into play to show that there's a lot more than meets the eye kind of thing going on. Yeah.
Do you think, like, because I've heard people make comments that when a female character shows power, it takes away from their femininity. I don't agree with that. Do you think that it takes away, or can a great female character find that balance between powerful and femininity?
I feel the moment that women find their strengths in themselves to do anything, that gives them the best light they could ever get.
Yes. One of my favorite, like, I remember when Captain Marvel came out, I did not like Captain Marvel, but I felt like that I was hoping she would have more of a story arc. But like, people were complaining like women can't be powerful. There hasn't been any female lead characters, and I'm like, check out the 80s. You had
WandaVision, though.
Yes, WandaVision was tremendous, and the I was going to say the 80s. You had Ellen Ripley, Sarah Connor. I mean,
yes, Sarah Connor. Yes, thank you for mentioning her.
You had some badass women, and Ellen Ripley's a great example because in the movie Aliens, she's a badass, but she's like, her driving force is her sense of motherhood. She's going to rescue her daughter, and when she confronts that female, it's on. It's like, get away from her, you bitch. That moment is fantastic. So who are some of your we talked about China, we talked about who are some of your powerful characters in wrestling or outside of wrestling that you feel emulate what you like to see in powerful women?
To me, right now, apart from China, like wrestling wise, China to me was the woman that got me into wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like in everyday live books or telenovelas, I could even go.
Yeah.
Like that's a thing. That was like I'm just gonna like say a lot. I have a lot in my head right now. So in telenovelas, I don't like even Mexican and Puerto Rican telenovelas had the same theme going on. It was the submissive woman and then the man. And then in the 2000s, that script turned. You had a telenovela called Heridas de Amor, which the main character is literally the beginning. She's just like, oh, you're gonna like, you can't hurt me. She literally just disappears. She's like, I'm not gonna play the sad girl. And then there was another one called Las tontas no van al cielo, which means dumb girls don't go to heaven. And then there's these crazy, like, again, it was a switch. To me, it was a switch. Ruby, Teresa, all these women, yes, they're very materialistic. Don't get me wrong. Teresa and Ruby, yes, both materialistic, but they both knew what they wanted.
Yes.
And like, I have to respect that.
Absolutely.
But if I look into like books or just TV when I was a kid and video games, Samus, like I mentioned, I feel like that was the epitome of like, I remember everybody when they figure out Samus was a girl, they were like, what? Because
right?
Yeah, it's Metroid Prime Hunters. She's a freaking badass, powerful female character. When you had her in Super Smash Bros., no, everyone was like, "Oh, he's cool," and I'm like, "That's not a he, that's a she, dude."
Yeah, come on, dude. I love it. Back to telenovelas. You know, Toni Storm is getting a lot of. She's awesome with her timeless character. You know, the classic movies. I always felt, and I always wondered if Thunder Rosa ever thought about doing this, but maybe you could consider this. It would be cool to have a telenovela wrestler. Like, you know, that like whenever it would
But
cut
I
to
love
them.
a villain. I love somebody to match. Like clearly, the character Tony's playing to me, that's the female protagonist. We need a real antagonist that can match her energy.
Yes, if you ever go see the classic feuds between Betty Davis and Joan Crawford, you know, because it's just like Batman needs his Joker. You know, Toni Storm needs some evil telenovela lady to go, no, silly bitch, I'm going to smack you or something like that. You know, some kind of evil character to balance.
And it has to be as equally as out of pocket
Yes.
as timeless Toni Storm, because there's telenovelas that would just like antagonist. Ooh, you could even think of Venezuelan. No, Colombian. It was from Colombia. Betty La Fea. Betty La Fea had the craziest antagonist. Like yes. Betty was just like an ugly duckling dealing with like working in a fashion company. And then she was in love with her boss. His boss was engaged. And the girl he was engaged to, she was a mean girl, like legit mean, ostracizing the work of like whatever Betty did when she was like working as her, you know, the boss's, that she was the boss's secretary. And that kind of energy, the whole mean telenovela slaps, you're crazy. No, we need that.
Yes, we do.
And I feel like there's a lot of like alternate parallels with wrestling and telenovelas. And actually, Gorgeous Lady of Wrestling made that comparison. When Liberty Bell did not understand telenovela wrestling until they brought her to a show.
Yep, and then she realized it's a soap opera. We could spend an hour at least on Glow, because when I was a kid from the 80s, my first taste of women's wrestling was watching the original Glow with Mount Fiji, Ninotchka, Spike and Chainsaw, the Heavy Metal Sisters. You know, there's so much. And so when the Glow show on Netflix came out, I ate it up. I thought that was tremendous. And I'm still a little
I'm
bit
waiting
salty.
for them to give us a legit ending. To me,
Yes.
that they robbed us of a great ending. There was a lot of character development, and just to take that from us, it was just heartbreaking.
What a tremendous view into the world of women's wrestling, and that whole, but you hit the nail on the head about it being, it's like a soap opera, and you need, for every good baby face is only as good as a villain that they're facing. And something I've noticed is in a lot of promos, the best promo makers I've noticed, they don't completely trash their opponent. They'll
No.
start off, they'll talk about how badass they are, but there's the one thing that makes me better than you. It's because you want your opponent to seem formidable. Would you agree?
Of course, why? Like, the whole purpose of this is having two people that have great caliber in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you, like, if you're like, if I'm me and I'm talking about the person I'm wrestling, why would I trash them? Why would I even want to wrestle them if I think they're that bad when they're really not,
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. Now, sometimes there's such a thing as being a little too cute and adorable, and sometimes it's like this. This, because I mean, here's your badass. Don't let the pretty dress, pretty girl in the pretty dress fool you, because we're looking at a badass in the ring, but
that's
here you
also
are.
another cosplay. That's from 13 going on 30.
Yes. Okay. The Jennifer Garner movie.
Yes, that was for the Thriller dance. The dress she uses on the Thriller dance.
Oh, that's awesome. Again, awesome, deep cut cosplay. I love that. There's a question from the chat. Isn't there a novella called Between the Ropes? I have not
I
heard
have
about
to
that.
check.
I bet that's Between the Ropes. If it's a telenovela around wrestling, you need to send your resume in. I think that would be
That would be my rise to stardom in soap operas. You bet.
All right, this picture. Now, I don't want to tug on heartstrings, but I just had to, because the look on both of y'all's faces in this has just melted my heart.
I'm gonna cry a little bit because that's one of during 2023, well, 2022 and 2023, I had two losses. Like that's my puppy. To me, he was always a puppy who passed away last year.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry to bring it to you,
I
but
love that. Like, he was so chaotic. He looks adorable there, but he was not your average golden retriever. He was chaotic. Like, he was like, You wanted to know. No, not like you go to a normal average golden retriever. Hey, let's go take a walk. Yay! This one. No.
He's like, no.
No, he was so mean. And I'm like, what did I do to you? But he was really sweet. He was just his own person. So I guess, well, his own dog, if anything. But he had his own personality. And that's something, because I don't know if you've seen the meme, like, oh, the golden retriever that made me want to have a second golden retriever. So I did have the whole, like, first golden retriever experience where my dog was like, I'll walk with you, Mom. I'll walk around the streets. Yeah, let's exercise. No. And then I had this one. No, chaos. I'll break everything. No. And I'm like, okay.
It's almost like he broke the mold for golden retrievers.
Yeah, he did. He was so mean, but I loved him.
All right, this looks like an album cover.
Yes, it does. So that's my friend PJ. Her name, well, she also goes as Lola. She's actually at Full Sail right now. She's studying. She wants to do. She studied here in Puerto Rico filmmaking, and she's an avid, like, wrestling fan. Like, she could outclass me in women's, like, history classes, like, for real.
No. And she's at Full Sail because, home of NXT.
Exactly.
So I don't know. Maybe she might put a little bug in somebody's ear. You never know. But that'd be cool.
I can see that happening.
Wouldn't that be cool if she ends up producing something that you star in?
That would be the dream, though. Like, it'd be a full circle moment, because I met her when she started practicing to wrestle, but then COVID happened, and it just, for her, it was just like, that was the end for her. but she does have that passion. And we're always very happy, and we encourage her to do more for the wrestling community because she's a very like passionate fan, and I've always admired and respect that.
That's the thing too, that it's with the advent of social media, a lot of us wrestling fans are able to connect with each other now, where like when I was younger, it was tough finding wrestling fans, and then you had the few in school that did like wrestling, and then of course you always had it's fake, right? Oh, you watch that? You get all those haters, and finding people, like-minded people, is tremendous.
So you mentioned school. So this is the story I tell a lot, and it's very questionable. I'm just giving a warning.
All right, hold on. Let me get my tea.
Yeah, get your tea because it's interesting. When I was in summer camp, they actually brought a wrestling ring for us. I was like, I think I have some pictures. They did it 2 years in a row. So the first year, they let us do our whole entrance. We were like 11 or 12.
Oh my!
And I remember I went out. I had red hair at that time, like really, really red hair.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I was in a weird, like preteen emo phase, so I would just be like with like fake hair dye. So I was with red hair most of the time. So we did the Hardy Boys and Lita entrance that year. And then the next year, they actually let us create our own little women's match. No training whatsoever. Like legit, the backyard training was brought to life at summer camp.
Summer camp slaughter.
Legit, like, and I think about, and I remember in that crazy thing, I was so scared to do Huracanaras, and now I actually do them depending on the person. And then I look and then I'm like, how did that happen?
Right? It's like riding a bike. Once you learn the proper way how, then you know how to do it. I mean, one of my favorite moves is the Canadian destroyers. I don't know how many people can do that move, but when it's so beautiful when it happens. But me and my friends messing around in the backyard, if we try to do a Canadian destroyer, someone's going to the hospital.
Yeah, they're going down. But I remember this as a fun story to tell, because then you think about it now as a grown adult, and then you realize, how did we get away with this?
Yeah, how didn't nobody get seriously injured? Can you imagine who was running this?
Parents, I think they gave our parents the consent form, but I'd have to ask my mom though.
Yeah, who was running this camp? Was it the Young Bucks? Was it the Dudleys? I mean, who was running this camp?
It was my school. Like, I used to go like summer camp in my middle school during the summer. That's why it's so crazy.
I think we lost your mic for a second. You still there?
Yeah, I'm right here.
Oh, good. Yeah, we got you. Yeah, so you so what do you think it was run by the Dudleys or somebody, or it was like a heart? I mean, we got to sign up for this wrestling camp. We got to tell everybody about this so they can get their own match.
I don't think it was allowed though. I think we got away with it because it was the 2000s.
Yeah,
the late 2000s.
We got away with a lot more back in those days than today.
For sure. Like, again, questionable things. I remember us practicing the match.
Yeah, practicing.
Exactly. Because we had no idea what we were doing.
Well, they do put, you guys were the reason they put "don't try this at home" on the.
Oh yeah, we're the reason why, for sure. And then now I'm a wrestler, and now I'm like, why did I do that? Why?
Yeah, why did I try this at home? What was wrong with me?
What was wrong with me?
Well, we've got to get to some wrestling news. Are you ready to mark out with me on some wrestling talk?
Yes.
And that's one of the things I love about my favorite wrestlers like yourself is you still have a foot in being a fan. It's like you don't become jaded. You don't become burnt out on the business. You still, like, I still pop. We all still pop when Jordan Grace appeared in NXT, or when different things
The
happen.
way I threw my phone though, like I wish there would have been like a camera like on me, like in the series The Office, because I went like, what? And then I wrote to another female wrestler that she's like a huge Jordan Grace fan, and she was actually off social media that week, so she didn't see the pop. And I write to her, go to this link, and I send it to her. She was crying, like legit. And I love the fact that we can still be able to feel these things for the business, because if we don't, I don't think we should be in it anymore.
Absolutely.
So it's nice to have like that kind of feeling. Though even when I have to go into the ring and I'm always like nervous, I feel like if I lose that feeling, then why am I here? So still getting those goosebumps, seeing Jordan Grace get on NXT. Nobody saw that one coming.
Well, we'll go ahead and cut to the chase, because you and I were talking before the show, trying to pick the banger of the week, and I think it's time for us to talk about
Hold on to your Kulos Mission Pro fans. Lock on, it's the banger of the week.
All right, the banger of the week, and this was a unanimous decision. I didn't have to debate Nahir at all about this one, but it is this past week. The NXT match was Jordan Grace versus Stephanie Turner, and this was incredible. I mean, Stevie Turner. I thought
Stevie,
Stevie Turner. Stevie Turner, of course, she went in, she complained and pulled like a Karen move. She said she wasn't getting any TV time. She needs some TV time. Well, they gave her some TV time with a match against Jordan Grace, who again, we were talking just now about popping for Jordan's appearance, that she's going to be Roxanne Perez's opponent at Battlegrounds this weekend. What were your thoughts? I mean, again, what are your thoughts on this match? And I felt like this was a good showcase, introducing Jordan, how powerful she is, but I don't feel like Stevie really was completely squashed. What are your thoughts?
I think Stevie worked with what she had. You know, NXT is still what you call developmental, and getting an opportunity to wrestle someone as Jordan Grace, I think she did the best that she could, given who she was wrestling.
Yeah.
For sure. And again, you're talking about the juggernaut. Like, she might be like 5'3", but I would never dare to piss off that woman at all.
No, I mean, she's like, it's steel is still steel. You know, it's kind of like, in X-Men, Wolverine is short, but he's Wolverine. I
love the fact that you picked I loved when they bring the little pamphlets.
Yes.
I love that. I think that's very like old school, but I'm a huge fan of it. I always encourage it to everybody. So the fact that somebody had Roxanne fierce Jordan Grace, because if I were Roxanne, I'd fear her too.
Yeah, I fear Jordan Grace, and I'm not even going to wrestle her. I mean, that's it. I mean, that in itself, it's.
And then the interaction they had afterwards, Jordan Grace, Roxanne pushed Jordan, and then that back push though.
She almost went flying out of the ring. I mean, she literally almost went like she was almost out of the ring. Chad saying it was nice to see Stevie Turner get the opportunity to wrestle against Jordan Grace. Yeah,
I completely agree.
And again, this is Jordan Grace professional. I mean, peeking behind the kayfabe curtain, Jordan allowed Stevie to shine. I mean, it wasn't like a complete squash, but like you said, Stevie worked with what she had. But you're fighting the Hulk. I mean, you're fighting the juggernaut, like you said. And it's we got some hi Daniels. Hi everybody. Courtney loves that WWE and TNA are working together. Jordan,
it makes me wonder what more crossovers we will have along the way.
Oh, can you imagine? Can you imagine what's possible? And do you think 10 years from now, at some point in the next few years, could we see a much smoother crossover between brands. Could we possibly see a WWE AEW crossover? Could we see some of these working relationships? I mean, we just found out today that AAA and CMLL have squashed their beef. I guess they had an
I
issue.
didn't. Oh my God, that's great.
Yeah, so like, well, I mean, I don't know the details, but it's like it's more to do with like they're both allowed to their talent to be at certain events. For a while, like if CMLL was going to be on a AEW show, Penta and Ray couldn't be on it. You know, or something like that.
I feel like having these crossovers gives some freshness to every show that it happens, because we're used to, the same wrestlers, and that's good. But like giving a breath of fresh air. Example, Jordan Grace in NXT was
Yeah,
mind blowing, right?
absolutely.
And it's like I'm speechless. I can't even like express myself correctly right now. So having these moments when wrestlers do these crossovers and the interaction and an introduction to sometimes companies that are a little bit smaller, but they're, I think, is equally talented as the bigger ones, it gives a great benefit to both.
Yes, it's a good synergy. Absolutely.
So you mentioned CMLL and AAA. Stephanie Vaquer, she's wrestling Mercedes Moné, and it's title for title.
I think that we're gonna talk about that. It's in our news segment here in just a second.
I beat you to it. I'm so sorry.
I won't apologize. I mean, we'll talk about it all day. I'm super excited about that. But they announced it's title for title. That's tremendous. But what I liked about this was, and I don't want to make it about Vince being no longer directly involved with WWE, but I have noticed what I do like is that they treated the NXT Women's Champion like a champion, like the champion she is. Like it wasn't like she got squashed. She came in and she's from this lesser company. They allowed her to carry herself as the champion that she is, and she shined. And this was a great first debut match. Stevie, of course, with the slap. She found out.
She effed around and found out.
Yes, she did. And, having Roxanne, Roxanne, was definitely watching with a little salt, a little salt in her con. But I love the match. And like you said, the aftermath was great because it really is selling this match. It's making it feel important. And, I'm a little nervous for Roxanne here. I don't know. I can't see her walking out of there victorious without some shenanigans.
I feel like Roxanne, she's done everything that she needed to do on NXT. What more is there for her to do at this point? So I love for her to actually jump to TNA I would love for her to lose just so she crosses over
to
TNA.
Yeah, you came to my house and ruined everything. Yes. So now I'm coming to your house. Oh, see, that's good booking, right? I like booking by Nahir. I love it. That's fantastic. Well, let's quickly go ahead and go to our news segment. There's a lot of news going on. I'm choosing the positive news in women's wrestling.
Love that.
At the top is something we were just getting ready to talk about. So let's get to the news and women's wrestling. All right. Hello, Mission Pro. It's time for the WWN, your source for women's wrestling news. I am not Ron Burgundy. I am still Mind Runner. And my associate, Nahir Robles, a.k.a. La Hola Hola. Or La Chica de Hola Hola. Sorry, I apologize. I'll get it right. But we're going to get to some wrestling news, and a lot of awesome matches were announced. Title for title, Mercedes Moné versus the New Japan champion, Stephanie Vaquer. This is going to be title for title. A lot going on in this match. Also, of course, it was announced Mina Mina Shirakawa is going to face timeless Tony Storm. And we were just talking about Jordan Grace versus Roxanne Perez. Let's talk about Mercedes Moné and Stephanie Vaquer. What a tremendous talent, by the way. And there is a storyline with Mercedes. This is like the belt that kind of got away from her.
Yes.
That
was the title she lost to Willow.
Yes. And now she's got a chance to get it back, but I don't know. I mean, I hope that this is an opportunity to really showcase Stephanie, because
that's where I was gonna go. You beat me.
So you finish my thought, because you and I are on the same page. We're on the same page with a lot of stuff. But go ahead and go ahead.
I think Stephanie has a lot going on for her in the good way. When she jumped to, I think when she wrestled, for example, back in Mexico, she wrestled Catalina, and then she went to New Japan, won the title, and then she's on a roll. Like, she's on a really good roll.
Mm-hmm.
And Mercedes just won her debut match.
Yeah. And
for a title nonetheless. So it gives good history, like storytelling, that was the title she lost.
Mm-hmm. And now
but she already beat the girl who took the title off of her for another title.
And now this is unfinished business in her mind. I don't know. On this one, Mercedes Moné, she's money, she is. I agree with that. She did kind of this is like to me, this is like her one unfinished business piece that she's got to cash in on. But I don't think she knows. I mean, I think Stephanie's going to really surprise a lot of people. And I don't know if there's going to, I think it'd be interesting if Stephanie becomes our new TBS champion, which would be interesting, or the AW TBS champion.
I think it's a situation in the sense that there's a lot of stakes for everybody. Mm-hmm. This is like Stephanie's like televised, like for US television, mm-hmm. big debut. And Mercedes has always have the eyes on her. And again, she just came back from an injury. She won her debut match. She can't risk to lose, and neither can Stephanie. She's on a roll. It's a very complicated situation. Let's be honest. You can't really, to me, it's very hard to pick between the two of them because both are very good, credible champions.
Yes. And adding that title for title stipulation, I have no idea, but don't you kind of love those matches where you have no idea what's going to happen? You just got to sit back and see.
Yeah, they just have me at the edge of my seat. Like, why did you do that to me? Like,
I know, right? It's like, oh,
why do they have to do that to us?
I don't know, but I do want to move through. I'd love to talk more, but I want to be respectful of everybody's time. But I'm looking forward to all three of these matches. Tony versus Mina. Mina's got a campaign of everybody wants Mina, or we want Mina. You have some thoughts? Go ahead.
The history between her and Mariah.
Yes.
I love that they like that element of she's mine. Like it's even more than the title. It's literally for the custody of Mariah May.
Yeah, right. Exactly. We should put Mariah on a.
She is the title. She is the title. Like
right.
More than the actual title, Mariah is the higher price for the two of them.
They need to put Mariah in a little cage or something above the ring and make.
This is gonna be like. Do you remember Harry Potter when they did the Goblet of Fire?
Yeah.
When they put their loved ones like on a lake for them to catch them.
Yes.
It's basically the same thing.
Oh my goodness.
With these two.
And we've talked about Jordan Grace, Roxanne Perez, but all of these matches, I'm super excited. I mean, there's story behind all of this. It's going to be interesting to watch. Now, I want to talk a little bit. A lot of us know her as Piper Niven, but Kim Piper Benson, she's acknowledging that as June is Pride Month, there's a lot of lot of things to celebrate, but also she wanted to bring awareness to PTSD Awareness Month, something that she's kind of disclosed. And I'm very proud of it because we're in a time now where we can be open about mental health and mental health awareness, where even 10 years ago, bringing up mental health, sometimes people looked at you like, are you crazy?
Even being Latino, talking about mental health, it's still kind of a taboo. They even made a sketch about it on SNL. I don't know if you remember it when Bad Bunny was on the sketch.
Oh, yeah, I think so.
When Marcelo brought his gringa girlfriend. When they're talking about mental health, and there's also then they're like, me hijo don't have depression, he just likes the dark. It's still very much like that. You can talk to any Latino kid with their parents about mental health. It's very much still a kind of a taboo that's slowly but surely changing.
Let's be honest. The cure for mental health in the Latina community is the chancla. You know, I mean, the fear of the chancla. But I do love that Piper was bringing this up. I like she wrote this thing where it says, to those who suffer, I see you. You're not broken. You are not what happened to you. You are whole. You're worthy of love. Healing is possible. You are not alone. I love you. And then there was, of course, the trolls. Yeah, she got a troll that said stress eating must be a symptom clearly. But what I love about this, here's what I love, and I love when trolls get owned. She turned it around into a learning opportunity. Now, this is just the top, but if you follow Piper, check out her. She has this lengthy, she goes into almost like a TED Talk explaining that, yes, stress eating is a symptom of PTSD. And she went into this almost like you could earn a degree reading what she talked about. But in a great way, her response was, she didn't just go, go kick rocks, troll. No, she really responded with information.
She really made it into a teachable lesson for that person.
Yes, exactly. And I love that response. And, this guy, he's just, with his 50 followers, like, oh, look at me, man, I dunked on her. But everyone else, got to learn a lot more about it. And she turned it into a teachable moment. And I thought that was fantastic. So check out Piper's TED Talk, if you will, on but it's definitely worth the read. I found it fascinating because it talks about addiction and coping mechanisms with PTSD. But I also really liked her little poem here too about you're not alone. I do host a mental health podcast on Mondays, and that's one of the purposes is to talk to people that you're not alone. We're all trying to figure out this world together and to be a lot more open about it. And sometimes it takes talking about cool moments in wrestling to get that dopamine hit to feel good, including Swerve Granny was on Dynamite last night. And for those of you that got to catch Dynamite, this gentleman, Antonio, brought his grandmother to AEW, got front row seats. She was super. I
swerve when I drive.
She swerved, and which is hilarious, She had that sign. She had a bunch of cool signs that she made, obviously sporting the MJF scarf. And she said she was, and this was the tweet they had right before they left for the show. He goes, how excited Granny is to see Dynamite this evening, front row. She's hoping to get some wrestlers to sign her shirt. Well, as AW went off the air, Swerve and Nana were right there with her. I'm sure they had more interactions. And check out these throughout the night. The great picture of Granny with Swerve.
All elite. Of course she is.
Granny's all elite. Shivani came over, and this was one of the coolest moments. Was Billy Gunn getting to give Granny a hug, and see this. There's so much negativity. There's so much negativity in the internet wrestling community, but these are the moments that just to me fill my heart. You know what I mean? This is what makes me feel so good.
I'm just staring at the pictures, and they're so wholesome, and it's so nice.
Just that picture of Billy hugging her.
Billy Gunn and she's just going at it hard. Like, I get it, Granny. I get it.
And how can you not love Prince Nana? I mean, just the Prince King was right there. You know, she swerves when she drives. You know, I
I
swerve
love
when I
her.
drive. I swerve when I drive. Well, we got some comments in the chat. We got Lincoln 2 Delta. Nahir, do you put bay leaves in your beans?
Sometimes I do. But I feel like it's more of a grandmother kind of thing going on. I'm trying to avoid it though.
Uh-oh. I'm trying to
I'm
avoid it.
trying to no, because I'll be eating like at night and be really tired, and I'll get those leaves on my mouth, and I'm like, no, no bueno, no, no, no.
Yeah, I'm
Or
not a I'm
no,
not a I'm not a bay leaf fan either, but I don't know. Maybe it's I understand. I understand. We also have Wes is saying much love to you, Nair, from Kyle, Wes, and Rocco.
Rocco is their adorable dog.
Oh, so cool.
But I met them this May on a show I did in New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
And I was looking forward to meeting Rocco because they bring Rocco to every wrestling show, and they're very big women's wrestling supporters. Like, to me, like, more people like him, please. He's so sweet. Kyle's so sweet as well. And then the dog is it's funny because the dog is so big, but he's so cuddly, and he was sick when I did the show. So I couldn't
Oh.
meet Rocco, and I'm still so sad about it.
Well, there's gonna be plenty time. Rocco, we need to see you. Make sure you make it to the next event. We're excited for you. Nair, this has been awesome, and I'd love to have you back again. We could mark out about wrestling for hours.
Yes, we can. And I feel like that's a good problem.
Let's. In fact, I'm looking forward to seeing your next cosplay. I'm looking maybe I don't know if you're gonna go. I don't know if you go Star Wars, Marvel, DC. You know, there's all kinds of I don't know if you could go. There's so much out there that you could go. One Piece. There's a lot of different things you could look at. Excited for you. Excited for the future. Congratulations again on your 50th match. You got a golden anniversary present right on your shoulder.
The Warrior Breed Wrestling Women's Championship.
Congratulations. What is next for you, and who are you going to defend against first?
Actually, I have a match this Sunday. I said I defend it anywhere and against anybody. So I'm actually going back to my school, my wrestling school that happens to be Espiritu Pro Wrestling Dojo, this Sunday at San Juan, Puerto Rico, on their show Last Ride, where I'll be wrestling one of the students, Elaine Negroni, for this title.
Very cool.
And this is not leaving my sight.
No, you're going to have to pry it off. That's super glued to you. Now, there are a lot of great Puerto Rican wrestlers, and including, there are some that, like for example, I don't know if you've heard of the current Mission Pro champion, Tiffany Nieves.
I have not met her, but I've heard her name so much. Actually, a couple of years ago, if I'm not mistaken, she wrestled in Puerto Rico before she was actually before Mission Pro. She wrestled for CWA in Puerto Rico, like I think it was a year or two ago. And I have not met her yet, but I am very much looking forward to meeting her and wrestling her as well.
I think we need to make that happen. I think we need to talk to the powers that be at Mission Pro. Perhaps we should talk to NWA. Bobby wants to see you at Mission Pro Wrestling. We want to see you at an upcoming event. We need to get you down to San Antonio. But I think it'd be pretty cool if all La Princesa meets La Chica de Hola Hola.
It's gonna be a full Latino match. I swear to God.
bring your Con and Pagao to the.
Yes.
Did I say it right? Pagao.
Pagao, yes.
Pagao. And Nahir Robles. I'm saying that correct, right?
Yes, you are.
Awesome. I'm just gonna make sure. And I am Mind Runner, not Mid Runner, as Thunder Rosa likes to call me. I am Mind Runner. She likes to call me Mid Runner, stressing on the mid. That's a whole other issue. But
Thunder Rosa.
she's awesome. She is awesome. Even when she calls me Mid Runner, I know it's a term of endearment. But Is your socials, the best way to get a hold of you is on X and Instagram, and check out your YouTube. Is it Rizzosis Sarcamos? How do you pronounce that?
So it's risos y sarcasmos. The meaning of that in English, it's curls and sarcasms, because when I don't have my braids on, my hair is full on curly. And I'm very sarcastic, I can promise you.
That's awesome. Curls and sarcasm. Hey, that's the other. That should be your second part to La Chica de Hola Hola. The Chica de Sarcasm. The Chica
That would
de
be
Rizos.
when I go full evil.
The heel turn. That's going to be you'll go that way. I think we're looking forward to that. Well, Nahir, thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to the Mission Pro family. We're looking forward to seeing you. Rocco is looking forward to seeing you on July 20th at Bell to Bell.
I'm wrestling Vicious Vicky on that show.
Oh, that's going to be tremendous. Vicious Vicky, look out. You are not ready for La Hola Hola. It's going to be Hasta La Vista from La Hola Hola.
Ooh, love that.
All right, add that in your promo.
I know it's going. And about Mission Pro, who knows? Maybe it'll be sooner than later.
You never know.
No.
You never know where La Chica Hola Hola might say Hola this time. Well, for La Chica de Hola Hola, Nahir Robles, I am Mindrunner. Thanks for joining us for Mission Pro Spotlight. Next week, we've got Julie Cutler joining us. You don't want to miss that. But anyway,
I love her.
She's
so nice.
She is awesome. And just it's going to be such an awesome chat. But again, I'd love to bring you back, and we'll mark out some more wrestling again, and maybe we'll do some fantasy booking. Not just yourself, but also maybe like a fantasy
we're gonna go crazy. I can just feel it. We'll just even have to like pick 10 women each, or 5 of you and 5 me, and then we'll do our crazy booking.
I think
it's happening. It's not an if, it's a when.
And you and I need to recreate, and you and I and another person, maybe Bobby or somebody, recreate the Hardy Boy, the Team Extreme entrance.
Yes.
All right, well, thank you, everybody, and we will see you. Don't forget, Tuesday is On a Mission with Emily May and Veda, as well as June 15th is the big Mission Pro. It is Summer Lovin'. It's going to not a whole lot of love at this Summer Lovin' event.
But a whole lot of wrestling.
Whole lot of wrestling. Whole lot of carnage. It's going to be awesome. We'll see you later. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you so much.